anything about it.
The laboratory, where frightful experiments are conducted.
Newsreel boys put out stuff with security classification, wars, weapons, political links. They get their
They're interested in very responsible people. They have a little index for them. They call it their power quotient. A ratio of responsibility as against aggression. Yes, very low. 0.2. So the language must seem rather strange at first, but we take it very seriously. Just to show you how seriously, I'm going to tell you how they checked up on you. We call these things surgical transmitters. One was fitted inside you when you went into the Charing Cross Hospital 3 years ago. Appendix. What?
You're trying to tell me that you listen to every word I say.
The machine does. Untouched by human hand. There's a little gadget in these things that ties up with the pulse rate. People with low power quotients. We want them to work for us. Nothing more sinister than
this. Just offer me a job.
Special sort of job. The newspapers talk about the corridors of power, the power elite. Let's just say we'd like you to join the club. There's a vacancy in our newsreel department. We'd like you to help plan the news for 1973. News is the most highly developed form of literature. The most difficult. Come on. I just want to show you something. 1973. We've only roughed out the news for 1973. Nothing's been given the go-ahead yet, but this is the kind of thing we have in mind.
Today, April 14, 1973. First historic pictures by Radstar of the combined U.S.-Russian landing on the moon. Shown here are Majors Webb and Mikhailovich taking their first steps into the unknown, firing their retro-rockets to land their spacecraft on the dust-covered surface. A comforting note for us stay-at-homes, both the Pentagon and the Kremlin have announced that the moon has no strategic value.
A comforting note for us to stay at home. I can't show you any film on this next model. We haven't photographed it yet. But this is the way it will sound.
June the 22nd, 1973. The State Department releases film of the ultimate weapon, codenamed Icarus. This satellite is equipped with a solid reactor. In layman's terms, it can freeze air solid, stopping all missiles, killing all forms of life. Icarus orbits at the same speed as the Earth, can hang in position over every major city that threatens the peace-loving nation.
Rather proud of this one.
September the 5th, 1973. A new phase in global war. War by example. At 4:32 our time, China took out the remote Indian border village of Campbell, unprotected by the Icarus network. After the first 2 5-megaton H-bombs war, the 9-way hotline finally...
Switch it up. This is going to happen in 1973. You're going to make this happen.
No. We are going to make models much cheaper than we photograph the model.
Fake news.
The past 10 years, people have been looking at our fake news and listening to our fake commentaries.
And they accept it for the truth. And you can do it. Stop 100 people in the street. How many of them have actually seen a missile or a satellite? They're just told they exist and they believe it.
Maybe would.
Well, now the moon rocket and the satellite, that you can get away with. That's too remote for people to grasp. It's too far away. But this... I mean, you invented this village on Chinese border. Well, somebody can check out.
Very mountainous territory up there. There'll be no survivors in 1973. No rescue work. Radiation scare.
Yes. You can do it. This could be the news for 1973.
Not necessarily exactly like this. We only plan in detail 1 year ahead. Tell me, what is the news item that's bothered you the most in the past year, 1967?
Well, it has to be the new American intercontinental ballistic missile, the Boy Wonder, doesn't it?
Just the one I asked them to set up with. The new ICBM, codename Boy Wonder. The much talked about Mercury warhead. I haven't any special effects up here, but perhaps with proper sound. And Robert Larkin, television director, high IQ, 35 years old, is scared. Scared by nothing, it doesn't work. It's a scientific impossibility. The same goes for the much talked about Mercury warhead.
If this rocket doesn't work, then the others...
They have a fireworks party at Cape Kennedy almost every other day. You didn't really believe there were all these things whizzing about up there, did you? Sputniks, rockets.
How long has this been going on?
Since Hiroshima.
And the H-bomb, you mean? That doesn't work either.
Right. Just.
Very, very dirty.
What was your first reaction? Relief. Oh, yes. Yes, it has to be. I've only shown you the hard news. There are other things, much softer things we thought might interest you. Well, 1973, we thought it might be time for an anti-teenage movement. Long awaited return to maturity. Sherry. Perhaps even a religious revival.
When did it all start?
1945. You may remember the Americans let off their two atomic bombs. Well, they didn't want other people doing the same thing. I mean, you do see that, don't you? Oh, I scared the people off. Americans wouldn't know that the atomic bomb was halfway along the line to something much bigger they aimed at them. Hydrogen bomb. It didn't work. They spent 5 years of negative research.
Well, what about the Russians? They're supposed to have quite a pile of these things.
We were surprised when they started their tests. Then we got a few feelers from their secret service. Nowadays we work very closely together. Oh, police stories about spies going off to Russia just for copy for the Sunday papers.
Good. Well, the Chinese. I mean, they've just announced that.
Yeah, we played along with it. We recorded their phony explosion. We're all hoping the Chinese will come along. Complete the pattern, you know.
In Vietnam, hundreds of people are being killed every week. Well, you can't do that with your models.
No. And you can't kill people with bad habits in 2 generations. They like to carry rifles, they like to put lines on maps, and we let them because we control the situation. There's no danger of world war. Just a simple choice for everybody. Capitalism or communism. Strawberry or vanilla. It all adds up to the same thing now we've got rid of the big bangers.
But how can you be sure that Johnson, Kosygin aren't working on other things? Poison gases, bacteria.
Pathetic, man of your intelligence. You don't want to destroy the world, neither do I. What makes you think that presidents are different?
Well, they've made some pretty good stabs at it in the past.
It wasn't the right sort of control then. Nowadays we know better. Politicians are easy to control. The grosser mentality boys who like to be photographed getting in and out of Daimlers in Whitehall. They come right at the bottom of our organization. A few rungs up the ladder, there are the people in the top secret factories. Just those in a position to know they're making weapons that don't really work.
There must come a time when somebody wants to use one of those weapons. I mean, somebody is standing there with a finger on the button.
That's the beauty of it. Nobody presses the button. We control all the crises. We build them up and we shut them down.
We.
Near the top of the hierarchy, there are the economists.
The laboratory, where frightful experiments are conducted.
Those men who are supposed to view the nuclear tests and so on. And above them, CWS.
World News Service. Just who the hell are you?
It's obvious, isn't it? Just a few. Just very few of the top people in communications. In every major country.
What, you mean you run all these magazines?
No, of course not. Just get them to take some of our coffee every week. Television is much more important to us. Won't happen so quickly.
You say you can put out what pictures you like on television. Doesn't anybody try to stop you?
No, nobody wants to. 99.386% of the population wouldn't believe this conversation. And the rest are working for us. They're the top minds, really responsible people. They know they're guaranteeing the lives of their grandchildren the only
Scared of the lives of their grandchildren. Well, I won't buy it.
some kind of control in this world of ours. And remember that 1/4 of the world is starving. There are the full bellies and the empty bellies. So the empty bellies carry rifles. The full bellies are getting a bit flabby. We're not very good with rifles anymore, so we've devised two ways to keep the empty bellies under control. One of them is this fictitious hydrogen bomb we've talked about. The other one is money. Enough money to fill some of the empty bellies. Put a hope and a smile on the faces of the others. A great wall of money all around Britain. And it's no secret that the British economy is in trouble at the moment. So we have to put that right too, to stay alive. We have to control the people in this country. Scare an ostrich, buries its head in the sand. You scare a hedgehog, it rolls itself up into a ball. When a woman's frightened, she goes out and buys herself a car.
You mean you scare us so that we'll buy more, so that money moves quicker, production moves up?
We don't say scare when we talk about human beings. We say threaten them emotionally. And there are all sorts of ways, not just the big ones like the hydrogen bomb. Overcrowd them a little with bad planning. Sell them too many motor cars. Anything to keep them a little bit removed from reality. Nowadays, people don't work for money. They work for the idea of money. They don't even love for love. They love for the idea of love. They only hate for the idea of hate. It took us 5 years to find a non-addictive drug. One we could pay off against the hard drugs. LSD.
You marketed that.
Oh, yes, of course. And for a very good reason. Some of these protest movements are getting a little bit too close to the mark. LSD gave them nice little hallucinations. Made them talk like 3-year-olds. Throw flowers at policemen. Now we talk terms.
You're not still going to ask me to work for you.
Most people realize that the world is controlled from about 6 big cities. But it must be rather shocking to learn that a sixth of the world is controlled from this building.
You mean you?
No. I only rent an office on the 7th floor. 2 other offices above this one. And a giant computer system. They know the more in world control.
Ah, the laboratory,
What's so remarkable
where
about
frightful
that is the
experiments are
machine that stores vast
conducted.
amounts of information.
A machine that knows too bloody much.
Now you're being hysterical. It's very simple. You feed data into it, anything from the Wall Street closing prices to the North Atlantic weather.
And you get decisions. Machine's taken you over.
It's just a machine. Extra hands, but people know how to control it.
This one, above us, it's square, in a box.
I suppose you could call it square and so on.
You know why I go where we get? To get away from people in boxes. Live in boxes. Get their thoughts, their problems, and their answers out of boxes. I like to get away at weekends because they're not people anymore. Now you know all about me. My cottage in Hampshire. But did you know that there's a line of trees that goes right up past the house? And the noise their neighbours is like the sea. Did you know that I find it difficult to sleep in the country? And I like to go and stand in the garden before dawn, and I feel good because I know that my wife and my children are asleep inside. And I like to go out and walk past the wet hedgerows until I can see pasture land and the smoke from the cottages in the
This may be all very well for one of your grassroots programs, but I'm afraid time is running out. John, we pay a great deal of money. We can afford to. We save such a lot on things like the National Defence Budget and so on. We would start you off at £250,000 a year. Rising to £1 million when you make the Ministry of Morality, which I know you will.
Will you let me out of here?
One little point. I should have told you about these surgical transmitters. There's enough of this stuff inside you at this moment to kill 6 people.